Two state-line organizations team up once again to help educate young leaders in the area with the return of the Rotary Academy. This is the 24th year YMCA Camp Winnebago and the Rotary Club of Rockford is holding the event, which serves 8th grade students in Rockford Public Schools. Leaders say the hope is to help students improve self-confidence, social emotional skills, and make informed decisions to be successful in high school and beyond. This year, the Academy will welcome more than 200 students.
It's always wonderful when we see people in the future, adults who have fond memories of coming to camp, whether it's through the Rotary program or, at summer camp. I know Alderman Tamir Bell went to the Rotary program as well when he was in middle school. And really, it's just great to have them, reflecting on that as something that helped them in their lives, no matter how big or small that is.